So when I was 14, I met this boy named Adam. And I'd already heard about him because my friends all knew him from middle school, and I'd heard, um, and all these girls would always talk about him, like, oh, have you seen Adam? He's so cute. And so when I first saw him on my bus, actually, I was super excited just to even get the chance to look at him. Um, And so then he messaged me first, actually. And I remember getting that message on Facebook and showing all my friends. Like, it was like a trophy to me. I was like, Adam's talking to me. Like, wow. Um, I had a really low self-esteem back then. I wasn't the prettiest girl. I had really frizzy hair and bright green braces and not the best choice in clothes or whatever. So I'd never really had a boyfriend. And when Adam showed interest in me, it was new and very exciting. It was a whole new world for me. And so, all right. So Adam rode my bus. So it was a 10-minute walk from my apartment to Adam's house. We'd been messaging on Facebook for a little while, and then he brought it up. He's like, hey, why don't we hang out? So on his birthday, his 16th birthday, I sat on the bus and I was super nervous. And I was like, Adam, happy birthday. And that was the first time I ever talked to him in person. So when I got home, I received a message and he was like, hey, why don't we meet up? And so on his 16th birthday, I walked over to his house. I met all his friends. His friends all were like, oh, you need to date, and said we were cute. And it was just really exciting. It was really nice. He was really quiet, and he seemed gentle and mysterious. So about 2 months after that, we hung out occasionally, almost every single day, but we started dating officially. And probably 2 days after we were official, I had already found out that he was cheating on me. I'd already found out that he was trying to talk to other girls. Girls would message me like, you don't deserve Adam. And I would show him these messages, and he would tell me, well, they're right, but I love you, so it's okay. So automatically, I put myself lower than him right from the very beginning. He was this amazing person that I set my eyes on and that I wanted more than anything, and I was nothing but a dorky freshman that he decided to give a chance. So right away I could tell that Adam was different. He was really quiet. He had these amazing blue eyes. He has amazing blue eyes, but you could see kind of a sadness to them whenever you looked at them. So I kept talking to him, kept trying to pick his brain, figure out who he is, why he is the way he is. And eventually he'd tell me, sad things that had happened in his childhood, and I could see where all this pain was coming from. Adam didn't start getting physical with me at first. He was nice, he was funny, he put me down, but I didn't know any better, so I thought that was normal. I remember the first time Adam put his hands on me, we were on the bus, and I wasn't feeling that good that day. And so I wanted to go home, and I told him that. And that wasn't okay with him. So he followed me home, and I ran. As soon as I got off the bus, I ran as fast as I could to try to get into my apartment building so I could lock the door. But of course, he was faster than me. So we went into my apartment building, and he threw me against the wall, and he told me I was ugly and that nobody would ever love me like he did, and how worthless I was, and how I never deserved him, and how lucky I was that he even gave me a chance. And at that moment, I felt like everything he was telling me was the truth. like, why had I just made this beautiful boy so mad? Why can't I was doing everything wrong. Why couldn't I keep him happy? Why did I make him put his hands on me? Before that, he'd done things to scare me, like punch walls by my head. But that day, he choked me. He dug his nails into my leg. And that was the first time I was truly terrified of Adam. So after that, throughout the years, we kept dating. He kept cheating on me, and I'd break up with him. He'd apologize. We'd get back together. And he didn't start just beating the crap out of me either. After that incident, he promised he'd never touch me, and he kept his word for a couple weeks. And then he'd choke me, or then he'd punch me. And it never really got better. It only got worse. He got more comfortable getting physical with me. So around my 16th birthday, I decided enough was enough. Me and one of the girls he was cheating on me with decided to confront him at school. And I remember walking up to him with her, and he just started smiling. And he was laughing. I was crying. I was like, look, I know what you've been doing. And he just looked at me and he said, took you long enough. So I knew at that point that he did not really care about me. So I left him. And that was the first time that I ever left Adam. Before that, I was always so scared. Like, if he was cheating on me, I was like, okay, what can I do so he doesn't feel the need to cheat on me? So I broke up with him. And then after he realized I was done with him, that's when everything started to change. He was so sweet to me. He promised. He became everything I wanted him to be at the beginning. You know, he was what I pictured he would be like. So after I broke up with him, I was very upset, obviously. I wasn't in the right mindset. And Adam started watching me from my windows. He would text me everything that I was doing. I'd look out my window and he'd just be sitting there staring at me. And so about probably a week after I broke up with him, he was still stalking me. I finally told my mom that, hey, this guy's stalking me. I'm scared. And things just kept getting worse. My mom tried to talk to him. It didn't work. And so me being 16, I decided the best option was suicide. And so I took a big handful of these blue painkiller type things, and I just took them all. And I remember when I started to feel them and I started going under, it felt like I was underwater almost. I realized I'd made a mistake. I started yelling for my mom, and she came and took me to the hospital. So after I got out of the hospital, Adam found out about it, and he was very worried, as he said. So skip forward 2 days. It's my birthday. Adam knows that I tried to kill myself. Okay, so one night I was on the phone with my friend. His name's Bryce, and we were talking just about everything. He was one of my really close friends. And it was the middle of the night, and Adam had waited outside my window before. I was on the ground level, so it was kind of like a door, almost. He'd done that before, but I was in bed talking on the phone, and then I see this green flashing light outside my window, and I see Adam place it with something else, And then I watch him, and I watch him leave. So I tell Bryce to hold on, and I get out of my bed and I go look out the window, and I make sure he's not there, and he wasn't. And so I open my window about this far, and then I just see a hand fly out, and he grabs the window and he just pushes himself into my room. And automatically I start freaking out. I grabbed him by his hair. I started punching him in his face. I was telling him to leave. I said, "My mom's here. You need to leave. Go." I was mad. And he wouldn't. He just kept coming in, and I yelled something to the sort of, "Oh, I could just kill you." And he pulled out a knife out of his pocket, and then he held it to himself. And he said, "You think you can kill me? Do it. Do it." Just taunting me to do it. And I just started crying, and I was like, I could never do that. I said it out of anger, but I could never do that. And so I say this. I'm telling him, I could never hurt you. And so he points the knife at me, and he said, "You're not going to have control anymore." And so it's the middle of the winter. My birthday's in February. I'm in my underwear and a t-shirt, and he tells me to go outside with him. And I just kept thinking over and over, I cannot go outside with him. It's the middle of the night. It's winter time. He wasn't even giving me time to put on shoes or anything. So I was like, obviously, he doesn't just want to talk. So I go into survival mode, and I keep telling him, everything's okay. We're going to be fine. I love you. I'm sorry I broke up with you. I regret it. I'm stupid. And at this point, he's holding me. He's got the knife to my throat. And he's just laying on me. And he's like, "You don't have control anymore." So we did this for about 2 hours. I was just pleading with him, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you, we don't have to do this." And eventually, he believes me. And he leaves. So he left. And then he texted me, and he was like, "You promise you're not going to call the cops?" And I said, "I promise, I won't." So I get up, I get back into my bed like normal, and my friend Bryce is still on the phone. And I don't know how much he heard, but he was like, "Sophia, what just happened?" And so I explained it as best as I could, and I got off the phone, and about 30 seconds later, I get a phone call, and it's from Bryce, and I answer it, and his dad's on the phone, and he says, "Sophia, what's your address? The cops are on the other line. They're going to come to your house." So I tell him my address, and I feel like it's the end of the world. I told my mom that Adam was stalking me, but I never told her that he put his hands on me, any of that. So I run into my mom's room crying, and I say, "Mom, the cops are coming. Adam just had me in my room with a knife to my throat." And so my mom, of course, calls the cops to make sure they're actually coming, and I just collapse. And about 10 minutes later, we hear, "Get on the ground," and then there's a thud. And automatically I just throw up. I knew that was Adam. And my mom tells me not to move, and then a cop comes up and says, "Hey, is this the knife that Adam had?" And I said, "I don't know." And he walks away. And then that was it. They arrested Adam. And I looked outside my window after that night. There was obviously snow on the ground, and I could just see where his legs were placed, where he dropped to the ground, and it was right in front of my window. So he came back for me that night. So Adam was arrested, and he went to jail for a little bit under a month. And I start getting messages from, I get messages from his friends, from everyone saying, what happened? Why did you put Adam in jail? He only wanted to protect you. And automatically I just felt so guilty. Why did I put my boyfriend in jail? what drove me to drive this person to this point. And so one of our mutual friends, it was one of my best friends and one of his best friends, starts messaging me. And she says, Adam was just trying to teach you a lesson. He didn't want to kill you that night. He just wanted to tell you, like, teach you that you didn't want to kill yourself, because I'd previously tried to kill myself. So she tells me, she's like, Adam's going to make a fake Facebook account, and he's going to message you, you know, respond if you want to fix this. So he messages me, and he tells me, you know, he tells me what she said, which was that he didn't want to kill me. He was just trying to scare me and show me that I wanted to live. And so we ended up getting back together. But the problem with that, besides him being a lunatic, was he had a conditional bond not to talk to me. And he was set on probation after the home invasion. And his record would have been clean if he didn't get in trouble and if he didn't talk to me. So we had to keep our relationship a complete secret. Nobody knew we were dating besides our one mutual friend. We kept it from everybody. So we started meeting up in different places like shady hotel rooms, our friends' houses. Sometimes we'd sleep outside, just any way we could be together. And we kept that going for almost 2 years. And when he first got out of jail, he was perfect. He was the ideal boyfriend. He didn't put his hands on me. He texted me all the time and told me how beautiful I was. Made me forget about everything he'd put me through before. But now that we had a relationship that we had to keep secret, he realized how much more power he had over me at that point, because I couldn't go tell my friends what he was doing to me. I couldn't tell my mom because nobody could know. So his acts started to get more malicious, more thought out. I remember towards the end of our relationship was when it really got bad. Almost every single night, I'd wake up to him either hitting me or choking me, or he'd always have these little razor blades. And he'd just press into my skin just enough so my skin would bleed, but it wouldn't really cut it. There was one time I was walking home from the mall with one of my really good friends, and he was texting me, "Hey, you want to go to Craig's Cruisers?" And he was being super sweet, and I was so excited. Like, who doesn't want to go to Craig's Cruisers? So I tell my friend, I'm like, "Hey, you know, my mom's going to come pick me up at this restaurant, so you can just walk home." So I left her, and I waited for Adam. And when he picked me up, you know, he said, "We're going to Craig's Cruisers, whatever." So we're on the way there, and I'm trying to tell him about the mall. I'm telling him about my day like normal. And I can tell he's just kind of distant. He's just staring at the road. He's not really responding to what I'm saying. So I tried to grab his hand, and I was like, you know, "Baby, are you okay? Like, are we good?" And he snatches his hand from me. He says, "Don't do that." And so automatically I'm thinking, like, oh God, what's actually going on here? So I start paying attention to the signs on the road. And I realized we were going in a completely different direction than Craig's Cruisers was in. So I asked him, and he said, "Oh, it's a different Craig's Cruisers. It's not called that. It's called something else, but it's the same thing." So I was like, okay. So as we're driving, I hear a really loud thud. And he's like, "Oh, I must have hit something. We gotta pull over." And at this point, we're in Pawpaw, which is this town that he lives in. So we pull into this secluded cornfield. There's only enough room for barely 2 cars to get by. Really, only one should go through. And he pulls almost to the end of the cornfield, it seemed like, so nobody could see us. And he gets out. He pushes the back seats down so you could see the whole entire trunk. And he's looking around, acting like he was checking out the car. So when he gets back in the car, I'm like, you got to call your grandparents because it was their car. And so he sits down and he just looks at me and he opens up the glove box. And inside the glove box, there's duct tape and a razor blade. And he just says, "You're going to help me put this on." And automatically I do what I always did, and I was like, "We're fine, baby. I love you. I'm so sorry. Whatever I did, I can fix it." And as I'm doing this, I had my purse on my lap, and I'm digging through my purse because my dad had given me some pepper spray. After Adam, my dad had given me some pepper spray after Adam had been incarcerated. And so I'm trying to stall as long as I can, saying, "I love you, everything's okay." And I finally feel this pepper spray. And so I just take it, and I find the hole, and I just spray him. I douse his whole body in pepper spray, and he automatically starts screaming. I opened up the car door, and automatically he lunged at me. And he had the razor blade in his hand. And he just put his arm around me and stopped me from leaving and had the razor blade held to my throat. So we're both hanging out of the car. He's crying. I start crying because I can feel the pepper spray burning my face now that he's this close to me. And he starts saying, "I wasn't going to hurt you. I was only going to kill myself. I wasn't going to hurt you." So we're sitting there waiting for Adam's eyes to heal so he can drive again. And I'm stuck with his arm around me with a razor to my throat. And 2 cars drove by us. The first one didn't stop, but the second one stopped. And a guy got out of his car. And he was like, "Are you guys okay?" And Adam couldn't see anything. And so automatically I just started mouthing, "No, no, no," over and over. And I'm staring at this guy into his eyes. And I'm trying to tell him this message without making any noise or any movement. And he just looks at us, and Adam's like, "Yeah, we're fine. We're just having a couple argument. Like, we're fine though." And so he just looks at me one more time. And then he got in his car and he drove away. And I thought, well, that's it. I'm dead. So Adam can finally see out of his eyes a little bit. So this time I do help him put the duct tape on. And he wraps up my feet and my arms, and he puts it on over my mouth. And he puts me in his trunk. So when I was in his trunk, that was probably the scariest part. I remember just holding myself, trying to push myself, I don't know how to explain it. Trying to push myself in a way where I could catch myself if he decided to crash the car and kill us. So finally the car comes to a stop, and I hear a garage door. Then the garage door closes. And he opens up the trunk, and he cuts open my feet, and I realize we're at his grandparents' house, which is where he was living. He says, "You're coming with me." And I was like, "Okay." And so he's holding me, making sure my hands are still tied. We walk down and his grandparents' house is a really big house. We walk down into the basement. And on the other side, his basement was kind of shaped like a U, like there was a wall in between. So we walked all the way to the other side of the basement into this little closet. And all that was in this closet was a big box full of wrapping paper, like Christmas wrapping paper. And then there was this pole thing. I'm guessing it was like a pipe. And he re-duct taped my hands to that. And he said, "You gotta be quiet. If you make a noise, I will find you." So he leaves me in this closet by myself for a couple hours. I don't hear anything. I sat there praying, and I'm not a religious person. I prayed for about 2 hours straight, just over and over, that my mom would not blame herself for my death. And so eventually I hear the door open, and Adam comes in, and he tells me his grandparents are coming home. And so in my head, I think, wow, okay, now I can finally get away. But then he tells me, if you make any noises, if you try to leave anything, I will find you. He said, if a cop car, he said, you better not hope, you better hope that a cop car doesn't drive by, because even if I just see one, I'm going to think you found a way to call them, and I'm coming to kill you. He said even if I ran upstairs, he wasn't going to let his grandparents get in the way. And he said no matter what, he would find me before the cops could find me. So I stayed silent.